Okay, let's try that again. Okay, for some bizarre reason, Facebook was not previewing it, so I couldn't see exactly what the heck was going on. Hi, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, the host of We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez on every Sunday here at noon on Facebook, although that may be changing to YouTube if this continues doing what it's doing. Yay, technology. Anyway, okay, so this video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka. Done. Okay, and if you guys could hold off on your questions about siblings, parents, and in-laws until I can grab these questions, because there were a bunch of people that were asking a whole bunch of questions. Yeah, no, I don't love technology. I really don't. I would have been happier in the old days with smoke signals. Seriously, because, oh my God. Anyway, also, I wanted to let you know, the next lecture is going to be in Honolulu. You can go to Eventbrite, the Mercury Eventbrite page, sign up for the lecture and the book signing and all of that sort of good stuff in Honolulu. It will be November. Oh, good Lord, where is my calendar? I am looking at my calendar and it went bye-bye. Where did it go? Year, hello. So we are in August, September, October, November. It will be on Saturday the 10th. So 10th of November. In Honolulu. If you are interested in that, please do sign up, because I have to put the books in my luggage and figure out how to get them from point A to Honolulu. So do sign up early so I can figure out how many books I need to bring and all that sort of good stuff. Okay, and if you are interested in a mug, we have just restocked, so we got more mugs in stock, and yes, we are now shipping internationally. I think we're doing England and Australia, and I don't know if that goes for other countries, but we did do the international shipping, so these are available on eBay if you are interested in having a mug like this. My nephew loves them because they're so nice and big and you can do hot cocoa. Anyway, there is that, she says, as she sprays coffee everywhere. Okay, holy cow, so many questions on toxic siblings, parents, in-laws, etc. Please do hold your questions until I can get through some of these. Hi guys. Wow, South Africa. Hi, how you doing? So here's the first one. Okay, so apparently there are a lot of you that are going through toxic parents that are aging and dying, and they're using the medical Hoover, and the siblings are all freaking out. That is to be expected. So let's talk about that. So the question is, aging abuser is dying. Lots of guilt trips from older sibling who appears to be turning into the abusive parent. What happens to the siblings when the abuser dies? Okay, well, all right, let's talk about family roles. In a dysfunctional family, you're going to have the golden child, the scapegoat, the scapegoat / black sheep, the ignored middle child, the comedian, the mediator, the peacemaker. Everyone's going to have a role to play. That is in dysfunctional families. Those roles only change when it suits the abuser. So, for example, my dad made Howard Hughes look like an amateur at writing wills, because he would write in people and write out people, write in people and write out people, and then dangle the inheritance like a carrot over everybody's head, because he knew that that gave him the control with those of us who were, concerned or cared about money. The ones who didn't just kind of went, do whatever you want, I don't care, it's not my money. So, which is the healthier attitude to have, because then there's no control. So they will change who the golden child is. And in single children families, no siblings, that poor kid gets golden child, scapegoat, ignored, depending on where the abuser is and what the abuser wants. And why are my glasses dirty? Good God. So it will depend on what the abuser is wanting to achieve, what the goal is, what the agenda is, etc. And so kids will be forced to endure different boxes that they are shoved into. When the aging parent dies, the children who had the greatest difficulty with that parent, who did not go to counseling, who did not work on their self-esteem, who did not address the fact that that parent did not have their best interest at heart, are going to have the hardest time with the parent's death. Now, what kids will do is they will do one of a few things. they will either suddenly, mom or dad, whoever the abuser was, suddenly becomes saint mom, saint dad, saint whoever, you know, of the perpetually perfect parents, never did a thing wrong. All of the abuse is completely whitewashed, excused, justified, rationalized, etc., etc., etc. Funny, who else does that? Addicts. Addicts will excuse, rationalize, justify all of their behavior when they're using. So it's the same thing. So one of two things happens. Either the parent suddenly becomes perfect and you can't say a single word about them now. So for example, when my dad died, right? So we were sitting around the table and we were, you know, telling stories, and unfortunately most of them were abuse. You know, my dad used to beat the shit out of all of us basically every chance he got because he was an asshole. And you know, I'd been working on it. Part of the reason that drove me into therapy was how crazy he was. And I knew right then and there. And I told my therapist when I walked in, I said, look, my dad is getting older. He was an older parent to begin with. He is eventually at some point going to die because he does not take very good care of himself. I want to be okay when he drops dead. And I know right now, if he drops dead, I'm not going to be okay. So my therapist and I worked on the original abuse. We worked on the original wound. And my siblings, some of them did and some of them didn't. And the one who didn't made him into Saint Bob of the perpetually perfect parents, you know. And you can't do that because that's denying and it's whitewashing and it's abuse amnesia. And so when any of my siblings around the table started to tell a story that I knew exactly how it was going to end because all of his stories ended the same way with, you know, him backhanding us and us going flying across the room, you know, she would come unglued and she would be like, no, he didn't mean to do that. No, it was because of his alcoholic dad. And no. And everything's, you know, and we just kind of looked and we were like, no, he was abusive and he was mean and he was an asshole. Deal with it. So, you know, it's a dysfunction because truth is not valued in dysfunctional families. And so when the truth of the abuse comes out, there's a great deal of shame. And if you can cope with the shame, you can cope with the truth. But somebody who has not dealt with the reality of the parent being an abuser, the parent not having the best interests of the child at heart, you know, somebody who hasn't dealt with that is not going to cope well with the parent dying. So they either go into denial, like I just talked about, where suddenly the parent is, you know, Saint Bob of the perpetually perfect parents, which is a load of, or they start becoming the abusive parent. They start adopting their attitude and their mannerisms and their this and their that and what they are doing is attempting to keep the parent alive by becoming them. How fucked up is that? So they do that. Or here's another option, and this is the one I did. I kept him alive by being angry at him. You know, God damn it, son of a bitch, how could you do this to us, you bastard, da-da-da-da-da. And it was a way of keeping him alive. It was a way of not accepting that when he died, that was it. All hope for him was gone. All hope for him was gone. The second that last breath left his body, game over. And so by me being angry with him, it was a dysfunctional way of me keeping him alive and somehow saving him. Oh shit, I'm gonna cry, fuck. Yeah. It was a way of me keeping him alive so that I could save him. And so other people will keep them alive by becoming them. Other people will go into denial and pretend that never existed, that never happened. And so people have and of course he died while I was in the middle of therapy. So thank God I had a therapist and I was working through all of this. So this is what we do when the abusive, dysfunctional parent dies. The siblings can go absolutely apeshit. They either, become the abusive parent. They either harbor a huge amount of anger in order to keep them alive to save them, or they, turn them into Saint, whatever their name was, of the perpetually perfect parents. It's dysfunctional. None of that is healthy. None of that is healthy. So this is what happens to siblings when an abuser is dying. And the dying thing is a Hoover. So I want to talk about that. So I hope that answered the question on what happens to siblings when an abusive parent dies. That was a really huge one. The next one that's kind of related that I wanted to get through is when an abuser, when a narcissist is diagnosed with cancer and they are a grandiose narcissist or whatever. Oh boy, so much to talk about on this one. So let's say that okay. So the narcissist is the parent of the spouse, and the other spouse has decided, I am not having contact with your parent because your parent will not respect boundaries, does not respect us as a couple. I am not going to have any contact with them. Well, then the narcissist comes out and says, oh, I'm dying. I've got stage 4 cancer or whatever. Then the son or the daughter of the narcissist will feel intense guilt, intense emotions, because none of this stuff has been dealt with. The abuser will then demand to have contact with grandkids if there are children involved. But if the spouse has said, I'm not allowing our kids around this person because I recognize them, I see them as abusive unless I'm there, then the spouse comes the child of the narcissist comes unglued because the narcissist is putting pressure and guilt, fear, obligation and guilt onto them to bring the grandchild to them without the spouse, okay? That is a huge betrayal of the spouse. So here's the deal. If you recognize that your parent is a narcissist, if you recognize that your parent is abusive, why in God's green earth would you allow them to be alone with your child? Let me get this through your head, guys. Just because they're dying doesn't mean they get it. Doesn't mean that there's suddenly been, a chorus of angels going, oh my God, I've been an asshole. I'm going to stop being an asshole, or I'm going to stop being a bitch, or whatever. That's not going to happen. If they are mean, vindictive, gaslighting, not respecting boundaries, putting down your spouse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that ain't going to change. And what makes you think they're not going to take that opportunity to brainwash your kid? Do not allow your children around these people. If they abused you, if they are abusing your spouse, they will abuse the grandchild. And how they will do that is they will drip poison into that kid's ear and confuse the shit out of them. You do not want your child around this dying narcissist unsupervised. Absolutely, the other spouse needs to be there. You bet your sweet bippy. You do not allow these people to do this. And this leads into another question. Okay, so it's just a big topic. I'm not even sure I'm going to get through it in this episode. I may have to do another one on this. So borderline grandparent, narc mom, lots of flying monkeys. How does that affect the siblings? One has trouble maintaining relationships, employment, friends. The other does not have those issues. Lots of jealousy, running hot and cold. Is this normal? No, it's not. Well, I mean, it's normal for a dysfunctional family, but it's not normal in the scheme of things. So normalcy, whatever normal is. So let's say that the normalcy is a non-disordered family, okay? So when there is disorder in grandparents, flying monkeys, the whole family is just completely in denial. There is no reality there. There is no truth there. There is no there. The siblings are going to play out roles. And here's the crazy thing. So when you have a set of caregivers, grandparents, parents, whatever, and they are disordered, some of the siblings will have strong fleas. Some of the siblings will not. Some of the siblings will absolutely have a disorder themselves. How? Why? Nature, nurture. Nature, nurture. Who the fuck knows? I don't. So it's a combination. I mean, some people can develop personality disorders reportedly without there being some sort of trauma. Now, I'm not real sure about that, but is there a genetic component? Abso-fucking-lutely. You bet your sweet bippy there is. So, some of the siblings will be okay, like reasonable, emotionally rational, emotionally regulated people. Others will have fleas like nobody's business, and yet others will be completely full-blown disordered. So, it just depends. And it depends on how much help the kids have gotten. It depends on whether the siblings are willing to get help or not. Hold on just a second. There's a lot of factors going on. So it affects the siblings in different ways. So in my family, It was a merged family. So I had an older sister from my mom's first marriage. I had an older sister and a brother from my dad's first marriage. And then there were the two of us together that were mom and dad's. So that was a weird dynamic. There was a lot of stuff going on. And there was a lot of disorder on, dad's side with his first wife, and then with mom marrying my dad, who was disordered. And my older sister, my oldest one, was the one who kept me sane. She was the one who was like, you know what, this isn't normal. I think I'm going to start exploring psychology and stuff to figure out WTF. And she did. And she turned around and she helped me with all of that. And she tried to help my other sister with all of that, the one that she and I were together from mom and dad. The other kids, I wasn't allowed to see. I didn't see my sister, from that marriage until recently. We connected on Facebook, which is awesome because it turns out we both love collies. We both love dogs. We both, we're both dog fanatics, which is great, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing her in January when we go do the tour of California, which, by the way, if you're interested in having me come to California, please speak up. We're going to be putting up Eventbrite pages. If you're interested in having me come to a city, please contact Chris, KRIS at mercury.com, so we can get a number of people in each city to go to. We're planning so far on San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, and then I'm going up to Chico to visit my family. So I may or may not do a book signing there. So anyway, there's that. But the point being is that we weren't allowed to see each other. It was like, it wasn't okay. And then the brother from that was definitely communal and had, will not go to counseling, will not fix themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's four of us that are willing to go to counseling, and, one that's not. So it depends on the level of willingness to work on the original wound, that it takes bravery to confront that mom or dad or both did not have our best interest at heart. They did things for them, not for us. We were pawns. We were objects. They seriously do not look at people as anything more than this pen, okay? Everyone is an object to them to be used to their end, not to ours, to their. So we are objects to them, and they do not, they'll do the lip service. Oh, but I love you. Oh, but I love you. Oh, but I love you. I'm sorry. Do parents who love you manipulate, control, lie, cheat, steal, rip the rug out from underneath you, tell you that you're worthless, tell you that you're the cute one, not the smart one? Do they do things like that? No. Normal parents do not, but abusers do. So it's hard when you recognize that this person is abusive. I remember the day when I sat down and I went, fuck, this person does not have my best interest at heart. Neither one of them really do. Mom had so many fleas, it wasn't even funny. She couldn't protect me from dad. She didn't protect me from dad. I had to protect myself, and I had to get the hell out because I knew it. I knew if I stayed there, I was not going to end up well in more ways than one. So that is a tough thing for a kid to recognize. That is a tougher thing for an adult who's got layer of denial and, avoidance and PTSD and CPTSD to cope with. So this is why I say it's like, if you've got a known narcissist for a parent, if you've got a known malignant, remember I'm talking malignant, guys, I'm not talking quiet, I'm talking malignant, borderline for a parent, get thee to a therapist. Seriously, get yourself into a really goddamn good therapist who understands abuse, who understands personality disorders, and is willing to help you peel back the layers of denial and avoidance and get to that original wound, because that's what it's gonna take. Okay, I hope that answered that question. Okay, characteristics of narcissists. Why do both siblings and parents flip the script to try to make everyone believe the target of abuse is them and that you're the abuser, or that the friends or families who clearly sees the narcissist for the abuser that they are is really the abuser? Okay, they have got a vested interest. So abusers flip the script. Siblings flip the script. Parents flip the script. Anybody who is a narcissist or an abuser is going to flip the script. But the problem is it's so easily figured out if you really listen to what they're saying. Narcissists lie like a goddamn rug, and they make shit up that is easily disprovable. But the problem of it is is that if we are unwilling to take a look at this person did not have our best interest at heart, we are going to be willing to believe the absolute worst of our spouse, of our friends, and of our family, because taking a look that our parent, our abuser, is actually the problem is too frightening, but we have to. We have to. And all it takes is listening to what the abuser is saying about people you've known your whole life or have known for a decade. What are they saying about this? Is it easily disprovable? Yeah, it is. Look it up. You know, go check this out. Go read this. Go do this. Go there. But we don't want to, because we desperately want to believe that this person over here is exactly like this person here, and therefore if this person, I can make this person love me, that makes this person love me. Nope. What this does is half of a shit sandwich, half of a shit sandwich, full shit sandwich. So that's what's going on with that. They flip the script and become the target of abuse. Oh, they're abusing me. They're saying this, that, and the other thing about me. Well, are they doing it? Well, yeah, they are. Well, guess what? They're the abuser. You know, whereas when they flip the script and go, well, your family, your friends, your, you know, your sibling, you're this, you're that, are doing that. It's triangulation of communication. And all it would take would be talking to the person. Or, for example, what narcissists are known to do is to call somebody and rant and rave and scream and this, that, and the other thing. And they count on people not, you know, taping the conversation, because in Arizona, you can tape a conversation even if only one person knows about it. So they don't count on that. But then what happens is the target of abuse will refuse to listen to the tape, because even though the narcissist has said in the tape exactly how they're going to blow up your friends, your family, your career, your hobby, etc., they refuse to listen to it, because now they have to deal with the fact that this person, this romantic partner over here, is not going to fix this mom or dad over here, and they have to deal with the reality of that. So that's what's going on. Narcissists telegraph what they're going to do. They tell you point blank. They tell you point blank, I'm going to destroy the friendship. I'm going to destroy their family. I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to take this away from them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But the target of abuse is unwilling to listen to any evidence that will show them that this person, this romantic partner, is not out for their best interests. They just do. So it takes therapy. It takes therapy. All right. Okay. I hope that answered the question on why they flipped the script. So how do you keep your spouse grounded when their abusive parent is dying? Okay, here's another question. How to help spouse help surviving parent? Why do they get sucked back into thinking that the abuser is wonderful? Again, it's the guilt, it's the fear, it's the obligation, it's the guilt. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a third party. You are going to need a therapist to help you. Help me help you. Help me help you. Do you see where I'm going with that? You're going to need a therapist to help keep you grounded. Portugal, wow, hi. You're going to need a therapist to help keep you grounded while you are helping your spouse stay grounded. I would suggest the two of you be in therapy with a goddamn good therapist that understands narcissistic parents, because the narcissist is going to play up the dying for all it's worth. Let me tell you something. My grandmother on my mom's side was a narcissist par excellence, okay? She was dying from the time I was born until she died 30 years later at the age of 94. So they pull the dying card all the time. It's all about putting the focus on them. They tend to be hypochondriacs. And they tend to play up the I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. And then when they really do die, they pull out all the stops. And they use the guilt like nobody's business. I'm dying. You need to stay by my bedside 24/7. Well, no, you don't. If you were not related to these jackasses, would you have anything to do with them, dying or not? And the answer is usually no. Now, I get a lot of people going, oh, that's not a very good Christian thing to do or say. Oh, my goodness. Well, here's the deal. It's no different than a stranger. If a stranger were being horrible and cruel and vicious and mean and harming you every single time you saw them, whether they were dying or not, would you be around them? No, you wouldn't. Now, that does not mean that you wish them ill. That does not mean that you don't make sure that they're taken care of if that's what you so choose. You know, if they're in a home and they're safe and this and they've got medical care, okay, great, they're good. But you do not practice idiot compassion. Let me explain this again. So here's the deal. Compassion is where you understand, okay, yeah, this person is a miserable son of a bitch or a miserable female bitch, whatever. And they are miserable and they're dying. Okay, that sucks to be them. I'm sorry for them, that sucks. However, I am not going to allow them, dying or not, to abuse me just because they're dying. That's called self-esteem. So what happens to a son or a daughter of a narcissist is they will get angry at the spouse for having good self-esteem and going, no, I'm not going to allow this. No, I'm not going to put up with this. Now, here's going to blow your mind. Listen to this next part extremely closely. Sons or daughters of narcissists, whether they are somatic, whether they are covert, or whether they are overt, or whether they are communal, okay? When I ask them, put yourself in your spouse's shoes. How would you feel if their parent was screaming at you and putting you down and trying to make you feel guilty and demanding that you bring the grandkids around when you know that they're not good for them? How would you feel? And without fail, every single last one of them has said quietly, because it's a hard thing to admit, I would feel like I deserved it. So here's the part that's going to blow your mind. So because they felt that they would deserve it, they feel the spouse deserves it. That's why they can't stand up for the spouse, because they cannot stand up for themselves. Once they learn how to stand up for themselves, they can stand up for the spouse and the kids. You need a goddamn good therapist to start working through this shit. You have been brainwashed by this narcissist, by this abuser, by this borderline, to put up with crap, to allow this crap to happen. And by God, you'd better put up with it, because that's what they say. But that then translates into, let's take this to the logical conclusion. If that's how you feel you deserve to be treated, and then you put yourself in your spouse's shoes and you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you do not deserve to be treated like that, and you really think that somehow you deserved it, then you also think that your spouse, your children, your whoever also deserves it and also should put up with it. And that's why you get so angry when your spouse or your friend or whatever stands up and says, you know what, I am not going to put up with being abused. So if you're finding yourself being defensive, if you're finding yourself getting angry at the spouse or whatever for standing up to the dying narcissist and saying, no, I'm not going to put up with this, get your ass to a counselor. Work on your self-esteem. You did not deserve anything that narcissist did to you. You did not, and you do not have to participate or practice idiot compassion, which is allowing the abuser to continually abuse. Amazing, isn't it? So that's what's going on. So that's why I'm saying, get a therapist. You're going to need a therapist. Here's the other thing you're going to need. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. I'm going to repeat this until I turn fucking blue in the face. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. You got to get this shit handled that this person did to you, so that you stop damaging yourself and stop thinking that you deserve to be abused. It starts when you're little. It starts when you're little. That's why I'm saying, Catherine Taylor, The Inner Child Workbook. Catherine Taylor, The Outer Child Workbook by Susan Anderson. You have got to work on the little stuff, the stuff that the mom and dad did to you when you were pre-verbal. How many targets of abuse were forced to wear shoes that were too small, that deformed their feet? And when the child cried, the parent, the narcissist, said, no, you put on those shoes. You keep those shoes on. They look good. They look good. Somatic narcissists do that. I can't tell you the number of times I have seen targets of abuse have issues like this, okay? So, yeah, so this is what's going on. We get denied our emotions when we're little. When we're little, we're told put up with it. And then when we grow up, that message perpetuates. And even though we try to put ourselves into our spouse's shoes, we cannot conceive of the idea that we did not deserve to have our little feet shoved into shoes that deformed our toes, or that we did not deserve to be told, no, you don't really want that. Let me tell you what you want. Or that we did not deserve to be told, I'm a bad boy, I'm a bad girl. Some targets' first words are things like, I'm a bad girl, I'm a bad boy. What the fuck? What good parent does that? I mean, my parents were not great. Let me tell you right now, my dad was a fucking abusive piece of shit asshole. My mom was slightly better. Now, obviously, she put me in front of a TV because my first word was Batman. Not anything about who I am. It was fucking Batman. So, Take a look at what your first words were. Was it a judgment of who you are? Was it a condemnation of who you are? Was it shut up? Was it fuck you? Was it no, put those shoes on? Was it bad girl, bad boy? If any of those things were your first words, honey, you've got a parent that's an abusive piece of shit, and you need to get your ass into a counselor and get that crap handled, and I mean like yesterday. Because it's going to affect you. It is going to hurt your self-esteem. It's going to hurt your confidence. People that are grown with narcissists like this go through life second guessing themselves and living in a hell of, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good? Yes, you are good enough. Parents like that live for perfection. And what they do to kids is they force them to be perfect. Well, there is no perfect. I'm sorry. The last perfect person was nailed to a tree 2,000 years ago. Okay. There is no perfect. Okay. We are never going to be perfect. What we are going to be is good enough. Get good enough in your head. Now, that does not mean you do things half-assed, but you do it good enough and you let it go. Because what we end up doing is we go, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect. And then we start doing analysis paralysis and then we do nothing. Stop it. You are good enough. It is good enough. You know, work on you. Get rid of the idea that you deserved it somehow. This is why spouses will stand by and watch a narcissist abuse their spouse. Because to them, well, if it was me, I'd deserve it. Well, no, you didn't. And neither does your spouse. Get with a good therapist. Let's start rocking and rolling on this. Let's start working on this. So Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi. The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Who's Pulling Your Strings by Harriet Breaker. Fan-fucking-tastic book. Jesus Christ, how come I hadn't read that before? So there was that. The Outer Child by Susan Anderson. The Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. And most importantly, holy shit, I could kiss this guy if I ever meet him. I swear to God I'm going to. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Get it, read it, fucking live it, do it now. Jesus Christ. All right, boom, there it is. God, that just, All right, so that's what's going on. So if your spouse is not defending you to the narcissistic parent who is dying, that's why. And that's why you need to get a third-party therapist, a family therapist in there for you and your spouse to do couples counseling to build up the self-esteem and to work on the mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs that this child has about themselves. And oftentimes when you tell that person, you are a good girl, you are a good boy, they will burst into tears because a part of them doesn't believe it. What the fuck? These narcissists have no business having kids. They don't. And yet they are usually the first ones that demand to have a child because they need that connection to their target, to their supply, so that they can keep them stuck for 18 years or more. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. Thank you. Sorry. You can tell this is a passion for me, guys. I am tired of people living in the dark. I am tired of abusive parents. I am tired of spouses not protecting their spouse from their parent or from any other narcissist. And they're also unable to protect them from any other narcissist that comes around because they get triggered, because they go back into that, I deserved that. I would deserve to be yelled at. Do you see where I'm going with that? So that's why I'm saying this shit has got to get worked on. You are not going to be able to do it on your own. You need a third-party therapist. You need an outside person that can help you with the mistaken thoughts and the mistaken beliefs going blah, 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 in your head. The first thing you have to do is cognitive work. Then eventually you're going to do emotional work. You have to work at it from a multi-directional thing. It's going to have to be the outside in and the inside out. Which, by the way, Inside Out was a really good movie. I finally saw that. So the point being is cognitive. What are you telling yourself? Holy shit. I'm telling myself that I would deserve to be yelled at. Holy shit. And by extension, I'm thinking my spouse deserves it. Holy shit. Oh, that's mistaken beliefs. Let me correct that. You're going to have to work on that. So you're going to have to work on the cognitive stuff. You're going to have to work on then the emotional stuff. They want us to have a tiny little range of emotion. If you will notice, with any fucking abuser, I don't care who they are, I don't care what sex they are, I don't care where in the fucking world they are, what they will do is they will have whatever emotion they want. They will scream, they will shout, they will yell, they'll cry, they'll throw things, they'll laugh loudly, whatever. But if we do any of those things, oh, you laugh too loud. You can't cry. I'll give you something to cry about. You can't be angry. I'll give you something to be angry about. They squish the emotions down to this. And Pete Walker talks about it in his book. He's amazing. I fucking love that man. So they want us to not have the full range of emotions. Guess what, guys? There are no bad emotions, but the abuser will tell you that there is. And all of the emotions, that they find bad are the real ones, which would be, I'm angry because you abused me. I'm sad because you put me down. I'm feeling stuff because of what you said to me when I was baby, right? Because they can't take responsibility for their own shit. But goddamn, we have to be always perfect. We have to be no emotion. We have to be the calm one. We have to be the forgiving one. We have to be, fuck that shit. If somebody is doing that, get the fuck away from them. You get to be you. You get to have the full range of emotion. There is nothing wrong with anger. There is nothing wrong with sadness. There is nothing wrong with tears. There's nothing wrong with laughing loud. There is nothing wrong with joy. It's what we do with the emotions that make them either helpful or harmful. Are we using them to manipulate somebody else? That's harmful. Are we using them to hurt somebody else? That's harmful. If we are simply expressing them and taking responsibility for them, that's helpful. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So hold on. I still got some more questions to go, and I swear to God, I will hit your questions. I do. It's been, yeah. Okay. So you keep your spouse grounded by going to therapy, and you keep reminding them they do not deserve to be abused by this person, even if they're dying. Even if they're dying. That does not give them carte blanche to behave like a narcissist. It doesn't. And if you don't want to be around them, you don't have to be. And for the love of God and all that's holy, do not let your kids be around them, because they will use that opportunity to badmouth you and to whisper stuff in their ear and do all sorts of bullshit. I've seen it 100,000 million times. So do not allow the kids around them without supervision. Abso-fucking-lutely. All right, just so we're all clear on that. Okay, toxic parents who side with the abusive ex and invite them to family functions. Motherfuckers. Okay, they're flying monkeys. They're flying monkeys. They are absolutely flying monkeys. And again, if they are siding with the abuser, they are not your family. They are not your tribe. Go be with people who probably are not going to be blood, who are your tribe, who get you, who support you, who are not going to be siding with the ex, who are not going to be flying monkeys for the ex. So if you have explained to them, this person was abusive, the ex was abusive, the ex did X, Y, and Z, and they are still supporting them, it is no longer a case of they are ignorant and they don't understand. This is now a case of they are an absolute minor narcissist flying monkey that is supporting the major narcissist. Get them the fuck out of your life. If you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? If the answer is no, act accordingly. Find your tribe. Find people who are truly loving and supportive. And sometimes family is not blood. I'm telling you that right here, right now. Hold on. Okay. And the kid of the dying narcissist falls back into the wonderful thinking because of the guilt. So if there's fear, obligation, and guilt, that's where the wonderful thinking, that's where the sainthood comes from. So you want to nip that bad boy in the bud. Okay. And I'm talking about the bad behavior, not the person. So, okay. And if they invite them to family functions, you don't go. You just don't go. There's no reason. These people are not on your side. They are not there to help you. Why do toxic parents not believe their own children when they report being sexually molested? Okay, so in my book, which unfortunately do I have sitting here? Of course not. I just have dog face banana patch. Today was just kind of a weird day because, technological stuff. But anyway, in my first book, What's Wrong with Your Dad, which is now available on audio on Amazon, as well as the You Can Lead a Horse to Water, but you can't make him cha-cha, is also available on audio on Amazon, and all of them are available on print on demand. In my first book, I talked about how my mom allowed my dad to abuse all of us, and she knew it was going on, and yet she turned a blind eye to it. And her excuse was, well, but I got to have the money. Well, Okay, if you understand my mom's upbringing, she was always poor, dirt poor. They traveled throughout the country. They would oftentimes leave through a bathroom window when they couldn't pay for rent or pay a hotel bill or whatever. This was in the 1930s. So 1930s, 1940s. So my mom was raised with absolute lack and scarcity. So when she came into security in her child mind, it was safer to stay with the money than it was to confront the abuser and say, no, you're not allowed to abuse my children. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. Plus the fact she had Stockholm Syndrome. So her mother was a narcissist, okay, and sacrificed the kids for her comfort. So that was her model, right? And then she gets into a relationship with my dad, who was, let's face it, batshit crazy. And he would gaslight, and he would lie, and he would manipulate, and he would do all of this stuff. And she was Stockholm Syndromed like nobody's fucking business. Does that excuse it? Not in the least. Does it explain it? You betcha. This is why parents don't believe their children. On some level, they do. They do know the abuse is going on. They absolutely do. In some cases, the abuse is happening right in front of them. But they are so terrified from the Stockholm Syndrome or whatever is going on that they are unwilling to face that fear of lack and scarcity or whatever it is their childhood created within them for them to step up and protect the kids. No different than the spouse going, if it was me, I would deserve it. Because abuse through generations. Hello, it gets passed on. So there's a part of them that's like, shut up and take it because I did. Shut up and take it because I did. Shut up and take it because I did. And that needs to be fixed. And that takes therapy. That takes working with a therapist to understand where this is coming from. And this comes from internal dialogue. This comes from inner child stuff. And then we have to deal with, okay, let's fix this inner child stuff and replace it with a healthy adult so that the adult is running the show and not the inner child. But when somebody is denying abuse when it's happening, they're in their heads. They're gone. They're gonzo. They're like, how do we stay safe? How do we stay safe? How do we stay safe? How do we, okay, but we need the money because if we don't have the money, we're going to be broken. If we're broke, we don't have a place to live in. We don't have a place. That's what's going on. It's Stockholm Syndrome. But I have to protect the abuser because they have the money. They have the means. They have the whatever. And they're also dealing with whatever stuff is going on with their original abuser. Doesn't excuse it, certainly explains it. Okay, hold on. How to cope with holidays. Be gone. That's the best suggestion I can give. You know, when John and I first got married, we killed ourselves, damn near, trying to appease both sets of family. And both sets of family were unreasonable. And both of them, it was a power and control issue. And they wanted us both at their house. And it wasn't because so much they wanted us there. It was because it was who was loved more, who had more power. That's really what it was about. It was like, well, come to here because, you know, if you come here, then that shows me that I've got the power and your mom or dad doesn't. So the best suggestion I can give is create your own traditions, create your own holiday traditions, and get the fuck out of town. If you all live in the same town, go somewhere. If you can't, you tell them you're going somewhere, and then you just stay home. That's what we do. So yeah, we don't put up with the whole power play of come here, come here, come here, come here. And of course, we don't have to now because my set of family is dead. So, you know, but his is still alive. And, you know, if we don't want to go do it, we don't. And there it is. So anyway, there is that. Okay, I have a few more questions that were, hang on. Okay, hang on. Okay, let's see. There was a few questions that were on. Let's see. Okay. Does parental estrangement happen with toxic grandparents? If possible, could you please touch on that during your video? Yes, it does. So if the grandparents are, well, there's a couple of ways that this could happen. If the grandparents are relatively healthy and normal, the toxic parents will not allow the kids any contact with the healthy and normal grandparents. And it depends. It could be an in-law. So the in-laws could be healthy and normal, and the toxic parents are not, or the one isn't, and the one's a target, and so then the abuser doesn't allow the kid to have contact with the parent who's somewhat normal's parents. That could happen, yeah, absolutely. The other thing that can happen is, does parental estrangement happen with toxic grandparents? So if the grandparents are toxic, you have the right to say no. You have the right to have who you want in your child's life, okay? So what can happen is, though, is at least in the state of Arizona, there's something called grandparent rights. So if the couple has been divorced for 3 months or is a single mom or dad for 3 months or more, the grandparents can go in and request grandparent rights. But then you have the right to go back in and go, look, here is the reason why I do not want this person in my kid's life. And then, you basically go through and expose everything that's going on in the family. It's a pain in the ass. Some grandparents go through with it if they're narcissistic enough, and others don't. So, because it depends on their level of narcissism, it depends on how far down the rabbit hole they're willing to go and how much they think they can manipulate the court system. If they are extremely narcissistic, they'll think that they can manipulate the court system and they'll play it out to the end because they want to bankrupt everybody and get their way. If they are not, then once they realize that their dirty laundry is going to be aired, they'll stop. So it depends. It just depends. I hope that answered the question. I'm not sure that's what you were looking for. Hang on. There's a couple other questions on this. I was always close to my mom. I've been no contact for 3 years now. I've heard the term enmeshment. So now I don't think we were close. I think we were enmeshed. Maybe some Stockholm syndrome and trauma bonding. She abandoned me when she told me to leave home at 18 after raging narc stepdad said it's her or me. So oftentimes abusive step parents will set up an absolute ultimatum. So it's you or your kids. It's me or your kids. So you're going to have to choose. I'm going to make it. Again, it's a fucking power play. Narcissists do not view children, anybody's children, their children, your children, anybody's children, as anything more than this pen. They are an object to be used. That is it. Okay? So when the target of abuse spends time with their own child and gives love to their own child, the narcissist will walk in and go, oh, you're spending too much time with your kid. What the fuck? And then they'll say, well, they need to move out. They need to be gone. They did da da da. They should be paying rent. They should be da da da. Things that the kid can't do because the kid doesn't have a job, or the kid is in high school, or the kid is whatever. So this is what narcissists do, and they will force an ultimatum. And the target of abuse, again, just like when the target of abuse didn't believe the abuse that was going on, will take a look at that ultimatum and pick the abuser instead of their own child, because again, in their head, their thinking is so twisted, they cannot get it straight that they don't deserve to be treated like this. And from extension of that, their child does not deserve to be treated like this. So they will pick the abuser. And what an unhealthy relationship in an enmeshed relationship looks like is there is no beginning and end to the parent or the child. It's like, where does the parent end and the child begins? Where does the child begin and the parent ends? There's no separation. And so the parent starts living vicariously through that child. Everything is done together. We are one. It's like Stepford Wives. It's not healthy. In a healthy, normal relationship, there are boundaries, and you are not enmeshed, and you are not obligated to tell your parent where you are every waking moment of every day, especially if you are a goddamn adult. But narcissists and malignant borderlines will do the whole, why didn't you text me back? Why didn't you call me back? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing? And they will demand to know every single little detail about your life, because if they're busy focusing outside of themselves, they're not dealing with the chaos that's going on inside. So I hope that answers that question. We got close again after, and she hoovered me back into the fold. So you got to be careful, because if they've done this, if they've thrown you under the bus once and they have not gotten help, they'll do it again. Leopard spots, as in they don't change. So if they've done nothing to change their dysfunction, the dysfunction will happen again. And the enmeshment is where they get too involved in your life. They want to know everything that's going on. They have all of this, you know, too much, they know too much. They know too much. And they dictate what you say and do and where you go to eat and what you have and this, that, and the other thing. That's enmeshment. That's really not healthy. Okay, one more question. Okay, so somebody had a question on frenemies. So when we start discarding toxic family, when we recognize that siblings, in-laws, parents, etc., are in fact toxic and not good for us, and we start separating ourselves from them, it feels very lonely. It does, because we are literally, it's no different than cleaning out your closet of clothes that do not fit. These people do not fit with who you really are. If you've worked on your self-esteem, if you have good self-esteem and you recognize that you do not deserve to wear shoes that are too small and break your toes, you do not deserve to be told that you're a bad person all the time so that that's your first word. You do not want this weird competition that goes on in families, you know, you don't want all of that. Then it does feel lonely because you're starting to clear out your closet. What you are doing is you are making room for your tribe. That's the way to look at it. Instead of looking at it like, oh my God, I'm losing all of this stuff. Are you really? Is it really a loss to get rid of all these people? Is it really a loss for that? Is it? So, you know, it's like you're cleaning out your closet. That's all you're doing. You're getting rid of clothes that no longer fit. You're getting rid of people who no longer fit, that no longer support you, who are full of holes, who are toxic, who are harmful, who are strangling you, who are, you know, emotionally, physically, or otherwise. You're getting rid of these people so that you can make room for your tribe, for the people who do love you, who do support you, who do see you for who you are. There it is. All right. So if you're feeling lonely, the cure for that is working on yourself. The cure for that is working on self-esteem, getting with a good therapist, recognizing what is a friend, what is a good friend, what is healthy. Recognize that. Go look for that. Don't go for the familiar. If you go for the familiar, you're going to refill your closet with a bunch of fucking narcissists and borderlines. You don't want that. You want your closet filled with people who are supportive and loving and kind and gentle and fun and honest and integrity and, you know, etc. That's what you want. You don't have time to be lonely. You don't. That's this thing lying to you. That is the addict part of us that needs somebody else. So you need you. You need you. More than anything else, you need you. So there's that. My mother-in-law is BPD with narcissistic expression. My husband has adult ADD, and I suspect is high-functioning Asperger's as well. Is there a correlation between issues like ADD and Asperger's and being raised by a personality disordered parent? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what the statistics are on that, and I'm not quite sure where you could go to look that up. What you could do is you could go to Psychology Today and see if there's any articles on personality disorders and Asperger's and ADD. I don't know what the correlation is, to be perfectly honest, and autism is not my strong point. It's not, you know, and I told you guys this. It's like if I don't know an answer to something, I'm going to point blank say, I don't know. You're going to have to go look that up or ask somebody who is more well-versed in high-functioning autism. So that would be my suggestion with that. Okay, so there are those questions. I believe I answered all of those. Okay, there's more over here. Hang on. Okay, no, get out of there. Go bye-bye. Okay, oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, hang on. All right, what to do when children emulate the abuser in your life and become one of your tormentors. Okay, so this may be a whole other show, but I think I am going to touch on it because I had several people send me things about, okay, our son or our daughter is got these traits or has this issue, very manipulative, very controlling. What do we do? All right, when somebody you love has got these traits, the only thing that you can do is strongly encourage them to go to DBT therapy. DBT therapy, schema therapy, CBT, works. DBT's better, schema might be better than CBT for that. But you want to, oh, hey, Bridget. You want to get them into help. Now, most people, not all, but most people, when they reach the malignant end of whatever disorder they have, whether it's, histrionic or borderline or narcissism, when they have reached that malignant part where they are harming people and enjoying harming people, they are not going to seek help. They're just not. They're not, because they don't want to hear it, and it's too threatening to them, and they're not going to get help. They're not going to get better. So if they choose to not get help, and here's the other thing, hold on. Okay, if they choose to not get help, you be done, because there's no hope for them at that point. So with narcissists, for example, and I've had this question over and over this week, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a moon or tides or Mercury's doing the Watusi with Jupiter or what, but I've had the question over and over again, but can't I just help them? Can't I just heal them? Can I get back into a friendship with them after 10 or 15 years? No, the answer to that is no. The answer to that is an absolute no. If you get back into a relationship with a narcissist, with a malignant borderline, 10, 15 years down the line, you're going to start the cycle of abuse all over again. Why? Because they do not change. They don't get better. They don't get it. They have no there. There is no empathy there. And somebody said, okay, well, but they recognize that they're hurting somebody. Isn't that empathy? No, it's not. What they're doing is they're recognizing that they are inflicting pain on somebody, and that is their narcissistic supply. That is not empathy. That is fucking sadism, okay? And they enjoy it. So get it through your heads. You cannot love a narcissist into sanity. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. They are always going to be abusive. They will always start up the cycle of abuse over again. It's a game to them. Listen to me now, believe me later. I have seen narcissists contact the target of abuse literally decades later and start the abuse all over again. And then the person has to extricate themselves all over again. Listen to me now, believe me later. You cannot fix them. You did not break them. You cannot fix them. They are irrevocably broken, not your job. Read The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Get it through your head. You're not going to fix them. You're not going to love them into sanity. You're not going to, help them understand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then what people do is they go, well, how do I know that they're truly a narcissist and they don't just have fleas? People with fleas actually have a conscience, and they know and they feel bad when they hurt people, and they generally flip and apologize and try to make it better and try to reestablish a contact or a friendship or a relationship or whatever. Do you see where I'm going? It's like they actually have a conscience, but narcissists do not. They sleep like the dead at night. They don't ever sit there and go, gee, what is my part of this? How did I harm this person? What could I have done differently? They don't care. You are nothing more than this pen. Get it through your head. We are just objects to them. They do not love. They do not care. They do not have empathy, and they don't want us to have emotions. So if somebody is squishing your emotions, that's an abuser. There you go. All right, I hope that answered that question. So when the children start emulating the behavior of the narcissist and they start harming you, you have to stand up for yourself and say no. You have to stand up for yourself and go, I am not going to let, I know you came from my womb. However, I am not going to allow you to harm me with this behavior. This is a boundary. No is a good word. Use it often, wisely, and well. Okay? And it's okay to say no. And it's okay to say no to your children. And adult children will oftentimes try to manipulate and control, especially if they've had a narcissist for a mom or a dad. And again, if it's fleas, you can get them into a therapist and start working on it as long as they want to. If they do not see an issue, if they do not see that they are the problem, if they do not see that their behavior is the problem, they're not going to go seek help. It's not going to happen. So what you do is you draw strong boundaries and you do not allow anybody to treat you poorly because you don't fucking deserve it, and neither does anybody else. So every time you allow that abusive child or that child to abuse you, you are giving them it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and abuse me. Yeah, it's okay. Nope. Don't put up with it. Absolutely don't put up with it. And then the threat from the child often is, well, if you don't let me behave however I want to behave, I'm just not going to have anything to do with you. Okay. I'm not going to be abused. We do not, I learned this from Richie, negotiate with fucking terrorists. He's fucking British. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we do not negotiate with terrorists. We just don't. So why should you? There we go. Okay, there is that. Oh, good God. Okay, where am I? I think that was all the questions that I had on that, maybe. Okay, hold on. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. And, oh my goodness, I'm belching. Okay, hang on. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for either. Sometimes I really love technology and sometimes I really don't. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for either. Okay, all right. I think possibly I got through all of the questions. Oh, maybe not. Hold on, there's one more I wanted to see. Let's see if this is the one I was thinking of. Okay. Nope. All right, I think I did it. All right, so now I can answer your guys' questions. Okay, and this thing does not ever let me go backwards. Oh, I swear to God. Okay, all right, okay, ask away, guys, because now I'm looking at this thing to try to answer your guys' questions. I hope this answered a lot of them. Okay, yeah, you got to make room for your tribe. You absolutely do. I see more and more my sister abused me. Wow, this is nuts. I'm glad she isn't in my life. Honestly, I feel better about who I am. So this is a huge indication of whether you are dealing with an abuser or whether you are dealing with somebody who is loving and kind and wonderful. If you're with an abuser, you're never going to feel good about yourself. You're going to walk away from every interaction with that person going, ew, I don't like me. Why do I feel gross? Why do I not like myself right now? What's going on? And it's because the abuser has said something subconscious, snarky, mean, nasty, whatever, to put you down. How do you feel when you're with somebody? Trust your gut. Do not listen to the head. Do not listen to the heart. You are going to want to fix the camera. You are going to want to listen to your gut. Your gut is never going to steer you wrong. Your head and your heart are going to tell you story. They're going to give you fear, obligation, and guilt. Your gut is a simple yes or no answer to a question. So always, always, always listen to your gut. If you don't feel good with this person, whether they are a friend, a boss, a lover, a family member, a parent, a sibling, if you don't feel good with them consistently, and it's like, ew, gross, or ew, I just don't like myself when I'm around them, then don't be around them. Excuse me, I've got a cold, guys, so I'm living on coffee and water over here and decongested. So, all right, yeah, it's like relationship feng shui. I like that. It really is. It is like relationship feng shui. You start moving people out. And as far as not trusting anyone at all, that's not healthy either. So it's a balance. And what it is the first person you have to learn to trust after having had a toxic caregiver or a romantic relationship or a boss or a friend or a sibling is you start working on trusting your gut. Your gut will never steer you wrong. Listen to that. How many times, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this or not, how many times have you walked into a room and there was somebody in that room that your gut just went, ooh, no, do not have anything to do with them. And then it turned out you were right because this person was dishonest or mean or whatever. That's your gut talking to you. Or you meet somebody and your gut goes, oh, I really like that person. And then it turns out they're a really good person. Trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut. That's really a good thing. The first person you need to trust is your gut. Okay, let's see. What is a good friend? Okay, a good friend is somebody who you love being with, who is supportive, who is kind, who's there when you need them. Now, that does not mean you're going to abuse that and call them at 2 o'clock in the morning and expect them to be able to be coherent and talk to you. But they are going to be the ones who, there was a meme. Oh my gosh, the meme was awesome. The meme said something like, some people, how did it go? Something about take the time to talk to you and other people make the time to talk to you. So it's take time out of their day to talk to you. I can't remember how it was, but basically what I'm saying is that somebody who is your friend is there because they want to be, and they make time for you. It's a priority. So when somebody doesn't make time for somebody, that says that they're not a priority. So that doesn't, again, you don't want to abuse that and be with them 24/7, but it's like, you know, if you call up a friend and go, well, you know, I really need to talk, they're there, okay? So that's a friend. A friend, it's give and take, give and take. It's not all take, it's not all give, it's a give and take. It's a mutually satisfying relationship where both people are getting their needs met. They enjoy each other's company. They enjoy being around each other. It's congenial. It's fun, and it's respecting. There's a lot of respect going on. So that's what a good friend is. A good friend does not take. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hang on. All right. Okay, when a parent refuses to go to therapy, when anybody refuses to go to therapy, they're not going to get better. They're just not. They're not. So you do not want to try to have a relationship with somebody who's unwilling to work on themselves. If they're unwilling to work on themselves, there's no hope. They're not going to change. You know, they have to be willing to get real. They have to have a come to Jesus meeting with themselves, basically, and go, you know, it's like an AA where you do a fearless inventory of your faults. It's like, I have to really work on this. I have to work on that. I have to work on this. Wow, you know, and that's what it is. And some people are unwilling to do that. And in therapy, what therapy really is being 100% honest, because if you're lying to the therapist can't help you, because the therapist can only go by what you are telling them. So if you're not telling them the whole story, or if you're trying to impress the therapist, or you're trying to do this, that, or the other thing with the therapist, which usually good therapists can see through that because it's the charming behavior that a narcissist does, you're never going to get better. So narcissists and borderlines, when they are malignant, refuse to go to therapy unless they pick the therapist. It's an unseasoned therapist, or it's a therapist that knows nothing about personality disorders, and they can easily manipulate the therapist. And if they can easily manipulate the therapist to get them to say what they want, then they'll keep going to therapy. If they can't, they will quit the therapy and then claim that the therapist is incompetent. That's what they do, guys. It's consistent across countries, across borders, across the world, male, female, they all do the same thing. Anyway, there that is. Okay, hang on. What to do when they gift material things to my daughter or me? Okay, so oftentimes gifts are given with strings attached. Oftentimes it's money. So usually what ends up happening is a narcissist will give a gift of money, and then they think that that gives them carte blanche to control, manipulate, come in, you know, be the end all and be all of that person's life because they've given them money. What you can do is you can send it back to them if you don't want that, or you can accept it if there's no way to send it back to them, but then you do not allow them to hold it over your head. So you just be very cognizant and aware, okay, is this gift being given to manipulate, control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or is it being given, you know, out of generosity and there's no strings attached? If there are strings attached, give it back to them. Don't use it. Don't cash the check. Don't do, If there are strings attached, but you cannot give it back, okay, fine, I've got it, and no, I'm not going to allow you to use this to manipulate, control, whatever. It's really, they're sneaky little bastards. All right. Okay, so flying monkeys will use a surgery situation. So they're going in for surgery. They'll have friends call to try, to get you back and, oh, but your mother or father is in surgery and I just wanted to call you to, get you two to reconnect. And don't you want to talk to your parents and they could die or, whatever bullshit they're doing. So listen, here's the thing. If the parent was abusive, you don't want anything to do with them. If somebody is a flying monkey trying to act on their behalf, you tell them to butt out. This is between you and your mom or you and your dad. This has nothing to do with this person. So don't fall for that. I heard a narc say that she was going to contact someone after she read they were having a breakup and she wanted to wiggle her way in there. She said it was good timing, but she has to get rid of the girlfriend first, her words. So narcissists are always looking for the next target. And they love rebounds. They love rebounds. You're going to find this on Match all the goddamn time. They look for somebody who has just been dumped because that person is incredibly vulnerable and the narcissist will swoop in and again, mirror. Oh, I'm the perfect match. I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything you ever wanted. I'm da 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 da. And then suddenly you're living with them and now you have no way out because they've enmeshed themselves in your life. It happens very quickly. It goes really quickly. It's like you meet them and within a month, you're boyfriend, girlfriend. Within a couple of weeks after that, they're pushing to move in. And within a year, they're living with you. And pretty soon after that, they're going to be pushing for a marriage. So yeah, they look for rebounds on Match, on eHarmony, on all of these places. You betcha. Okay. Okay. Oh, so narcissists need to be experts in literally everything. So they will not know diddly squat about a topic, and yet they will pontificate on it as if they do. Especially psychology. They'll take one psychology class and suddenly they think they're fucking Sigmund Freud. So yeah, they do that. And that's how they twist things to their partner, to their friends, to their family, that they're the expert on everything. They're not. Real people are not experts on everything. Like I said, I know nothing really about autism. That's not my strong point. So go find somebody that does. A narcissist, however, would start pontificating about autism as if they knew everything about it because they read one article. So yeah, you'd be careful of that. I'm the scapegoat and the golden child at the same time. Yeah, that's what they do. They switch roles all the time. All right, do narcissistic abusers usually carry a lot of secrets? Like they are secretive about very silly things? Yes, because they think that they are important. They believe that the world is watching them and they are very paranoid. They can be very paranoid. They can be very obsessive compulsive. They can be very, weird behavior, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, and it's because they think that they are the end all and be all of the world. And of course the world is watching their every move. And so they have to have secrets because everyone's watching. Yeah, it's crazy, go nuts. Yep, okay. My 37-year-old went on to therapy. We now have a good relationship. Good. He learned to treat me as my ex-husband and mom. He now apologizes for treating me so bad. Yeah, see, this is the thing, guys. Kids watch. Kids are little sponges. And so if we've got a narcissistic parent out there, that little kid is watching how this person treats you and how you allow them to treat you, which is why when you get out of the abusive relationship, you must have super strong boundaries and you do not allow that ex to disrespect you or the children in any way, shape, or form, because you do not deserve it and the children do not deserve it. And the children need a strong role model to show them that behavior is not okay and you're not going to put up with it. That's what you're modeling for them. They watch what we model for them. That's why words are important. Actions are important. Do the words and the actions match? If the words and the actions match, boom, there we go. Then it's good to go. Okay, how do you stay low contact when you live in a small town? So you're going to run into them. It's a small town. This is why I don't like small towns. I came from a small town. It's like you couldn't pay me enough money to live in a small town. Give me the big city anonymity, and I love it because it's like you're not running into people constantly, which is good. So in a small town, what you're going to do is you're going to have to gray rock. You're going to run into them, but you do not have to attend every argument you're invited to. You do not have to socialize with every person you run into. You can say hi and move on, you know. If they're following you around the store, then make up an excuse and leave. You know, is it an inconvenience? Yeah, it can be. But you're not obligated to engage. You're not obligated to talk to them. You can gray rock them and move on. I'm terrified of psychopath shrinks, how to get over it and how to get a good one. You interview them. I've done several videos on what to ask a potential counselor or psychotherapist. You just interview, like crazy go nuts. That's what you do. And you ask all sorts of questions. What's your modality? How long have you been doing this? What's your experience with personality disorders? What do you understand about abuse? You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh my gosh, so many questions going by. Holy cow. Can you address the way narcissistic grandparents treat their grandchildren differently between their own golden child and scapegoat children? My in-laws show blatant favoritism. Oh no, don't go away. Wait, where are you going? No, stop it. My in-laws show blatant favoritism for the children of my husband's brother, who was the golden child, and my husband was the scapegoat, yet defends his mother in this situation incessantly, even though our own children notice and are hurt. Oh God, yes. So if the golden child has got grandchildren and the scapegoat has got grandchildren, the golden child's grandchildren will be treated much better than the scapegoat's children will be. Again, therapy for everyone. Just do it. Therapy for everyone. Get in with a therapist. Start working on this. The kids are noticing it. They're not stupid. Kids notice things, guys. It drives me crazy because everyone's like, oh, they're not going to notice this. This isn't going to affect them. Yeah, it is. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. I knew there was something wrong with my dad when I was little, like little, because he was cray-cray. So kids are not dumb. They notice when they're not being treated equally. They do. So you want to get into a good therapist. If he's making excuses for his mom, that's not okay. And maybe there should be some less contact, you know, and I don't know. So get in with a therapist, with your husband, talk to a therapist, figure it out, because this is not good. This is not a good situation. But they do that. They do play favorites. They absolutely do play favorites. Even with grandkids, even with children of golden children, children of scapegoats. Yeah, you betcha. When I say secrets, I mean, I may not find out until the day before that this person is having a major surgery or that they purchased a large piece of property with our inheritance. Yeah, they do that because it's a power and control thing. It is absolutely a power and control thing. Okay. They hide everything. Again, it's a power and control thing. How do I set boundaries with my alcoholic borderline personality sister? She has no problem telling you're a bad parent, who your friend should be or not be. So here's the deal. If they are malignant, they're not gonna respect boundaries. They're not. And in fact, when you set a boundary with a disordered person, the first thing they're gonna do is test it like nobody's business to see if they can mow over it. So be prepared. You are going to be dealing with somebody who is going to be testing the boundaries. There is a great book by Randy Krieger. It's a book and a workbook called Stop Walking on Eggshells by Randy Krieger. There's a book and a workbook. So you're going to want to get that book and that workbook, and you're going to want to work it. You have to draw boundaries and you have to stick to them. And when that person starts bad-mouthing you and saying you're a bad parent, this, that, and the other thing, you stand up and you walk out. You do not put up with it. Your actions and your words must match. If your boundaries, your words are boundaries, you need to also make your words, your actions boundaries. So the words and the actions match. So when the sibling starts in on, well, you're a bad parent and you should be doing it this way and you should be doing that way, that's when you go, okay, stop. We're not going to have this conversation. So how about them Dodgers? So when you're dealing with a borderline sibling, what you want to do is gray rock, boundaries, and or distraction. So when the sibling gets onto a topic and won't let it drop, you try to distract them into talking about something else that's innocuous. If they refuse to do that, then you end the conversation and you walk the fuck away. Period. You do not give it to them. You don't allow them to continue this. So, and they will try. They will try. And eventually they learn, oh, I'm not getting what I want, so they'll try something else. So yeah. EMDR is good. Okay. Oh my God, these things keep popping by before I have a chance to read them. Okay. I was in one of those children and narcissists that had to be, oh God, perfect. I remember doing all I could to make my mother happy, including no tantrums, knowing where my shoes were at all times, leaving her alone to nap when she had a headache. What she said might be pretty accurate. As far back as I can remember, I acted ideally as possible. Yeah, we are trained to be perfect, and we're not, because we're human and we're going to make mistakes, but then that causes us to do analysis paralysis, and then we end up not doing things when we're adult because we're afraid of being judged. And that's what has to be worked on in therapy. We have to get rid of this bullshit that this toxic parent shoved into our head. All right, gut is always correct, yes. Yeah, oh, here's the other thing. Here's how you'll know whether this is a good friendship or not. Are they only wanting to hear the bad things? So a toxic friend will only be interested when you're suffering, when things are bad, when things are not going well. They will not be around to celebrate with you when you get that promotion or when good things happen. They will not be happy for you. They will cut the conversation short. Oh, yeah, you got a promotion? Yeah, I got to go. They'll do things like that. They're not really truly happy for you. They should be reveling in your successes. They should. And if they're not, then they're not your friend. So there it is. If they don't make time to celebrate with you as much as they make time to hear when things are bad, that's not a good friendship. Oh, geez. Yeah, money is a real big trigger with narcissists because it represents power and control. So whenever there is money involved, you can bet that they're going to be deceitful, they're going to lie, they're going to steal, they're going to do whatever because it's a power and control issue. Absolutely. So as far as being a good friend for other people, when we come out of an abusive relationship, you're right, we don't have a whole lot of energy for ourselves because we have never once put ourselves first. So it's, again, like being on an airplane and the mask drops. You have to put your mask on first before you can turn around and help somebody else. So it is about making yourself a priority. How are you doing self-care? Are you going to therapy? Are you taking care of your emotional health? Are you taking care of your physical health? When was the last time you had a physical? When was your last pap smear? When did you last have your prostate checked? Are you drinking enough water? What is your sleep like? What are you doing for fun? What makes you happy? What recharges your batteries? Are you doing that? You have to take care of you before you can hope to turn around and be there for somebody else. So it is hard for us when we first come out of an abusive relationship to be a good friend because we're at survival. Give that to yourself and tell your friends that. I'm at survival right now. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to be around because I'm at survival. I'm literally clawing up the well to try to get out, to see the sun, to get into the sunshine because I've been in the dark for so long and I don't even know who I am and I don't know how to take care of myself anymore because all of my energy was bent on taking care of the abuser. So you tell people that, you just be honest. And the ones who get it will get it and the ones who don't are not your tribe. Boom. Okay. My sister was always competing with me. Yes. Okay. So siblings who are disordered themselves are very much in competition with everybody. And let's take that a step further. Parents who are disordered themselves are going to be in competition with the kids. So again, I have seen parents take up a hobby that the kid has and then push it into the kid's face that they're better at the hobby than the kid is. Or the kid's dating somebody in high school and the parent starts flirting with the boyfriend. Again, it's a competition thing. It's a look at me. I'm better than you are. I'm sexier than you are. I'm smarter than you are. I've got better painting skills than you do. I have better ba 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 ba. It's what narcissists do. They are constantly in competition with both children and with each other and anybody else around them. So, and siblings will do this as well. Oh, I won. Look at me. I won this game. I'm better than you. So board games are not friendly board games. So the best board games in the world is when you have a group of people that like each other and you're not playing because anybody wants to win. You're just playing to hang out and be friends. Okay. But with a narcissist, it's like, oh, look at my stack. I've got a bigger stack than you. I'm winning. The fuck? So it's a competition because narcissists have to be the best at everything. They have to be in competition with the daughter for the boyfriend or the son for the girlfriend, or whatever, or they have to win. They have to win. It's all about the win for them. It's the win. It's the win. It's the win. That's what they do. Okay, hang on. I hope that answered the question. Oh my God, this thing keeps going and I can't catch up. Okay. Prideful alcoholic who was never wrong. She was found in the backseat of a car with my boyfriend. Yeah. She shrugged her shoulders and said, so what? It's a competition. So in her mind, it was like she won because she got your boyfriend to sleep with her. So like that was some sort of accomplishment. So it's for the win. It's not anything about you. It's about them. They have to be better than everybody. So that's what they're doing. Okay, hang on. Where am I? I find myself running after friends and being the one to make dates to do things. I question if these are good friends because in other ways we get along. You know, good friends make time for each other. So, you know, Anna and I don't have a lot of chance to get together and see each other because we're both, you know, full-time therapists, and I'm doing this and she's got kids, and you know, but when we do, you know, we switch back and forth. I'll call her up and be like, hey, do you have time to do breakfast? Or she'll call me up, hey, do you have time to do breakfast? And it's a give and take. It's a give and take. It's never just one person doing it. So if one person is always chasing after the other to try to get them to spend time with them, you point it out to them, and then if it continues, okay, clearly that's not a priority for them, and you move on. Okay, I've listened to my gut and here and have not attended family Thanksgiving or Christmas for 4 years. Problem is, it is a majority of my family that gang up, so I stopped going. But now I'm labeled the bad, mean person who hates her family, and my niece and nephew who are 11 and 15 I haven't seen in 4 years, and that breaks me. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Sometimes you have to wait until the niece and the nephew grow up. You just do. So here's the deal. They too are surrounded by narcissists. Narcissists never take a look in the mirror and go, what am I doing to cause this person to not want to come to Thanksgiving dinner? Okay. So in my experience, what happened with my family is that the niece and nephew from dad's first marriage, his son, he wouldn't let the kids around me at all. The dad, you know, my brother, wouldn't let them around me. Why? Oh, because I am a profane motherfucker and I swear like a goddamn sailor, okay? But the kids were older and I didn't swear around them. But in his mind, women were to be seen and not heard, and they were to never swear and be perfect and whatever else weirdness was going on with him. So he made sure that the kids and I never saw each other. So I did not spend time with my niece and nephew when they were little. I didn't get to see them at all. Even when they were older, I didn't get to see them. It's only been in the last 5 years that I have reconnected with the niece and nephew. And the cool news is that the niece and nephew and I love each other and we talk to each other all the time, and they're learning and growing and I'm learning and growing, and we're comparing notes, and you know, sometimes you got to wait until they're adults and out of that influence. And for them, they each had to figure it out on their own that the family was toxic. And then once they figured out that the family was toxic, that's when the reach out happened, because they realized if dad and mom are saying, you know, get out, get out, get out, get out, or, you know, I don't want you around this person. I don't want you around this person. I don't want you around this person. Well, okay. And it turns out that they're the toxic ones. Wonder why they don't want me around this person. See where I'm going with that? So sometimes you just got to wait it out. You just gotta wait it out. Does it suck? Yeah. Would I would love to have had them in my life when they were babies? You betcha, because I'm all about Disneyland and I'm all about kids and I'm all about, you know, healthy family, and I would love to have spent time with them. But the good news is I get to spend time with them now, and I get to spend time with their little ones. And we do get to go to Disneyland, and we do get to go to Hawaii, and we do get to go do these family things together that I didn't get a chance to do when they were little, but I get to give it to them now. So sometimes you just gotta wait it out. Does it suck? Yeah. Is it that guy's karma? You betcha. I'm not even going to worry about it. So do you see where I'm going with that? It's like, if it's toxic, you stay the hell away. You stay the hell away. And listen to me now and believe me later. They are going to say whatever it is they need to say to sleep at night. So if making you the bad guy makes them feel better, they're going to say it. And what other people think of us is none of our goddamn business. We can't change them. I can't stop anybody from thinking what they're going to think of me. It's not my job. I got other things I got to do. It's not my job, and I don't care. It's like, if they're going to say and think horrible things about me, that's on them. I can't change that. I can't, you know? And you let people decide for themselves, and you let them figure it out. So again, narcissists will say and do things that are easily disprovable. And then when the kids grow up and they're able to take a look at the facts versus what mom and dad have lied about, then they're able to go, oh, geez, mom and dad lied. This person is actually really nice and really cool and really this and really that. Same thing. Same thing. You let them figure it out for themselves. And what other people think of us is truly none of our business. It isn't, because we can't change it. We can't. It's beyond our means. So why worry about it? It's like the Buddhist worry chart. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then don't worry. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then don't worry. That's really it. It doesn't matter what they think. It matters what you think. What do you think about you? I want you to love you. You love you. And trust the universe that hopefully, maybe this will happen and maybe it won't. In my case, it did. In some cases, it doesn't. But hopefully they'll figure it out, and they'll reach out to you when they are adults and they would like to know who you are. That's all you can do. All right. Okay, trust your gut. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, they smear. They absolutely smear. When the in-laws figure out that you see them for what they are, they'll start smearing, you betcha. And again, you don't care. It's like the people who know you, and the people who don't, and if they're willing to believe the worst about you, well, that's on them. And if they only did a little bit of investigation, they would figure out that the narc is lying. So, okay. Yeah, the narcissist quit and claimed incompetence. Yeah, that's what they do all the time, all the time. Because, of course, they know better than somebody who's got their master's degree. Okay, and families that don't believe in therapy. That's a convenient excuse. So oftentimes I hear the religious excuse of you just need God, or you just need a religious therapy or whatever. And it's a cop-out, because it's like, well, there's all of the scientific evidence that shows that CBT has got an effective rate of success. DBT has got an effective rate of success. Schemotherapy has got an effective rate of success. They're saying they don't believe in therapy as if it was some sort of magic voodoo. It's not. Is it a soft science? You betcha. But it's got stuff, it's got evidence to prove that it works. And they don't want to believe in it, because then they would have to confront their original wound, their responsibility for their actions, and they're not going to do it. So be done. Be done, be done, be done, be done. Yes, it affects leadership style. So narcissists, there's a great meme where the guy is the difference between a leader and a boss. Okay, so the leader is down with the troops, pulling the chariot or whatever it is along with the troops, going, come on, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. You know, they're down there with them. A boss is up on the chariot using a whip, telling them, do it, do it, do it. That's the difference. A leader is part of the team. A boss separates themselves from the team, is better than the team, doesn't have to help, and is just going to tell you everything you're doing wrong. There you go. Okay. And it's fine if the gifts stop, because if the gifts have got attachments to them, you don't want them. It is better to be giftless than it is to be filled with guilt, with obligation, or with fear. Always. Always, always choose the upper road. Okay. Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay. They said, don't you want a close family? We don't understand why you're doing this. You will understand when your child is older. No, here's the thing. If the close family is close because they're picking on somebody and it's mean and it's nasty and it's snarky, and you don't want your kid around that. Absolutely not. If I refuse the money and gifts, will they finally stop hoovering? They will try different hoovers. They will try other things. They will try guilt. They will try whatever, you know, they'll just try other hoovers. Don't fall for it. Don't. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth having to be in relationship with somebody who is harmful, hurtful, nasty, mean, and snarky. It's not worth it. Okay. 16 years of crazy. I'm trying to be done. She will literally chase me to the car if I don't talk to her. Yeah, they will do that, which means no contact. You need to go no contact and make it clear. I'm not going to have anything to do with you. If you are in a small town, that's going to make it a little harder to do, but it can be done. And if it's really uncomfortable, you may want to look at moving, honestly. So there that is. Whoa, I really sometimes hate my computer. Okay, I'm so afraid of my daughter exposure to them. My therapist actually told me it's your problem. Let your daughter be exposed. Of course, I watch to what happens. If the kid is a minor, don't have them around them. If the kid is an adult, you give them informed consent. This is what I went through as a kid. You can be around them if you want, but I'm going to let you have your choice. Okay, hang on. I'm just looking at. Okay. Hang on. Okay, Chris, can a borderline narcissist grandparent alienate a grandkid against a parent? Yes, if you allow them unsupervised access and they've got the kid and they're sitting there poisoning the kid's ear against the parent. Yeah, you betcha. That's why you do not have unsupervised access to their grandkids, to your children. You don't. You always be there. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. My narc family member makes a point to disagree with everything I say. Even my adult children notice this. Don't be around them. Okay. When we lived with her, she said I had to yell her good night and good morning, could not use the kitchen after 9 a.m. When we left, I realized my son was too afraid to go into the kitchen in other houses. That's what they do. It's power and control. It's conditioned behavior. It's just like Pavlov's dog. The bell rings, the dog drools. The narcissists don't be in the kitchen. 10 years later, the kid will have a phobia about kitchens. Yeah, exactly. How can I keep myself safe when dealing with a non-narc but toxic, angry, pessimistic, suicidal, etc. parents? That, I cannot diagnose them, but the suicidal stuff sounds like borderline, because that's what borderlines do. I love them and they need me, but I come away with hopeless mirror neurons. How can I detox during after visits? Okay, so when somebody pulls the suicide card, when somebody says, I'm gonna hurt myself, I'll just die, I'll just stop taking my medications, I'll just da-da-da-da-da. You gotta call them on it every single time. You let Adult Protective Services know you do not allow that crap. If you have to be around them, and it sounds to me like you do, because it sounds to me like you're kind of caregiving them, I would suggest Stop Walking on Eggshells by Randy Krieger. Read it. It's going to give you the tools for how to cope with them when they start pulling their emotionally deregulated bullshit. Angry, pessimistic, suicidal, that's disordered. Absolutely. You don't want to put up with that. You do not. So how you detox before, during, and after is you need to know going in that they are going to misbehave. Where we get fucked up and where the children of narcissists get messed up is that in our heads, there's that little kid, remember how I talked about in the beginning, that desperately wants to be loved and desperately needs the parent to be normal. They're never going to be normal. So you have to remind your inner child, Mom and Dad are not going to be normal. I'm going to go into the care home or wherever they are, and they are going to be angry and pessimistic and possibly suicidal. They're going to be jackwagons. It's going to be nasty. And, you know, you limit your time. You just limit you do the minimum bare minimum, the minimum bare minimum. That's what you do. It's like if you have to go over there and deliver stuff or change stuff or whatever, you do it as quickly as you can and you get the fuck out. And then when you get away from them, you remind yourself, it's them, it's not you. It's them, it's not you. It's them, it's not you. And then you go do something nice for you. Seriously, it's like the self-esteem workbook, looking in the mirror, saying nice things to yourself. You know, it's like you remind yourself that this is not healthy, normal, or real. This is their fucked up dimension that they've decided to live in. And you don't have to take that home with you. You can shut the door and leave it there. You do. So it's called compartmentalizing, and that's good when you're dealing with narcissists, not so good when you're dealing with healthy, normal relationships, because you do not want to compartmentalize. But so, for example, with me, when I do my job, because I'm a therapist and I listen to horrific stories all day long, What I do is, at the end of the day, I literally, after I sage the office, I will literally go, okay, I am leaving all of this here. And I shut the door, I compartmentalize, and I go home and I have a great time with my husband. Because that's what you do. And that's kind of what you're going to have to do when you're dealing with the toxic mom and dad. You owe them nothing. If you're doing this for fear, obligation, or guilt, that is not a healthy relationship. So limit your time with them. Do the bare minimum. Do the minimum, bare minimum. Okay, there it is. She constantly texts that they want to help. Nope, don't allow it if there's strings attached. I'm told not to call out on my abuser, that it's unhealthy to continue to call him out on his abuse. When I see a post or a picture that reminds me of his abuse, I'm told I'm giving him power. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, guys. Narcissistic supply, okay? Narcissists do not care whether the attention is positive or negative. They don't. They really, truly don't. So every time you comment on a social media post or, you know, say, hey, this guy's an abuser, blah, 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 he's sitting there going, oh, yes, oh, smell the power. Don't give it to him. Block his ass. Stop looking at his social media. Why are you still looking at his social media? It does not matter what he does from here on out. It does not. It does matter what you do from here on out. And by giving in and posting and saying things and poke, and I'm going to get you and revenge and bullshit like that, you're just giving him narcissistic supply. Stop it. You're better than that. Stop it. Stop it. So block his social media, have nothing to do with him, and yeah, is he going to find another supply? Yeah, he is. That's what abusers do. This is what they do all the time, is they look for supply. They look for supply. They look for supply. They look for supply. So let it go, babe. Let it go. Let it go. Go get with a good therapist. Work on you. It is all about you. It is all about you from here on out. What are you going to do? What do you want to do? What do you like? What are your hobbies? What's going to make you feel better? What are you going to do? It's all about you. It's not about him. Stop, because you're stopping yourself. You're keeping yourself stuck. You're living in the past. You're keeping yourself stuck. Move forward. Let him go. Write, if you have to, write and burn an angry letter to him. The good, the bad, the ugly, the horrific. At the very, very end, go fuck yourself sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat. Trot it out to the barbecue. Read it out loud once. Burn it. Let it go. Do not send it. Sending this stuff to, he's never going to change. Get it through your head. He's never going to change. They don't change. Abusers do not change. They don't get better. They don't suddenly wake up. They don't have an epiphany. They don't suddenly go, oh my gosh, I've treated all these people really horribly. I should probably make amends. It is not like when somebody gets into a 12-step program and recognizes that they're an addict and they need to make amends. They will never make amends. They will never be sorry. They'll never be human. They don't have it. They don't have the cog. They don't have the empathy cog. They do not have the normal emotions that a normal human being has. Let it go. Okay. How to keep sane on mother's annual visits. She's criticizing every little thing the moment she steps through the door. I eventually banned my mother-in-law from my house. I had to. She was destroying my marriage, and she was trying to destroy me, and she was trying to destroy my husband, and I wouldn't allow it. So you either keep the annual visits very, very short, or you don't have them. Simple as that, you know. It depends on how long she's staying for. It depends on why you're having her there. Are you doing it from fear, obligation, or guilt? Well, then you need to take a look at why you're doing it, and do you really want to continue doing it? So there's that. Yeah, you're not obligated to engage. You do not have to attend every argument that you're invited to. You absolutely do not. My narc mother-in-law tried to use my son to have a do-over. Yeah, they do that. I almost died having him, and they stayed in the hospital the whole 12 days I was there in the next bed. The whole thing was trauma. She even tried to get me to have another baby because she wants a baby. Yeah, they do that. They absolutely do. They don't understand where you begin and end and where they begin and end. That's what they do. I remember having this reoccurring nightmare as a child that mom's shadow was almost demonic and she would talk to me all nice. It terrified me. That's your subconscious screaming at you. I like to look up symbology on dreammoods.com. The symbology, or Jung, you know, the Jung dream symbology. So it all what resonates with you. It's usually our subconscious is screaming at us in these dreams. So you want to go through and analyze it and see what resonates. Now, sometimes I'll look up on Dream Moods to try to get an idea of what's going on with the client. And it'll just be a description that both the client and I are like, no, that doesn't quite fit. Let's try a different website. So it really is what resonates with you. What does this mean? So, okay, my new sister-in-law is narcissistic. I posted a meme that said something about it's funny that you're talking shit, etc. randomly. And she responded to it saying she knew it was about her and pointed out all my flaws. Oh my God. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Every single narcissist on the face of the planet thinks I am talking about them. Everyone. They do. They all think that I am absolutely talking about them. I'm not. Because it's the same no matter where in the world it is. So anytime I post anything, if they are the least bit disordered, they will assume that I am talking about them. It's just the nature of the disorder, because they are so arrogant and they are so self-consumed that they honestly believe that everybody has got the time to care what they are doing. I don't. I care about what my tribe, which is you guys, is going through and what questions you need to have answered and what meme is going to help you the most to move you forward. That's what I'm looking at. I could give a fuck about the abuser. I don't give a fuck about the abuser. I give a fuck about the survivors. I give a fuck about us. So yes, every single narcissistically disordered person is going to assume that every single post anybody makes is automatically about them. So that speaks volumes about them, not us. So there's that. Okay. Okay. I live with my narcissistic mom because my PTSD is so bad. I don't leave the house. I care for my Stockholm dad. My mom takes care of everything I need help with for kids, attending school, extracurricular stuff, because I have panic attacks, social anxiety. I'll be homeless without her. She made my whole family hate me, so I have nowhere to go. She destroyed my friendships, but she made me completely dependent on her. How do I get away? Where do I go? What do I do? I'm scared. I'm scared of males, and I don't know how to do things without her. I'm 34-year-old, single mother with no support except for her. Also, don't want to leave my dad that is horribly abused by her. Okay, so here's the deal, though, hon. Your dad is not your issue. Your dad is not your problem. You are your priority. So what you want to do is you want to get in touch with social services. Start with Catholic Charities. They have got free counseling for domestic violence, and that's what you're going through. And AuntBertha.com. AuntBertha.com. Let me say that again. AuntBertha.com will have social services, medical, counseling, etc. in your area. AuntBertha.com. So it's meant for people who are low income, who are in abuse, who are needing to get out, who need social services. AuntBertha.com. That's what you're going to want. Because you need to get out. You need to live your own life. And the PTSD has got to get handled because the panic attacks are giving you agoraphobia, which is causing you to not leave the house. And that's just going to be a self-perpetuating thing. So once we are afraid of going somewhere, our brain will go, oh my God, I can't go there because I'll have a panic attack. So let's say we have a panic attack at the mall. Well, suddenly we start avoiding the mall. Okay, well, so now I'm avoiding the mall, but now I had one at the grocery store. Well, now I'm avoiding the grocery store. Well, now I had one at the gas station. Oh my gosh, I can't have one at the gas station, so I'm going to avoid the gas station. Well, wait a minute, I had a panic attack in the car. Holy shit, I can't get into the car. So it's a self-perpetuating thing. So the more panic attacks we have, the more our brain goes, oh no, we have to avoid this. We have to avoid that. We have to avoid this place, this place, the other thing. You've got to get into a therapist. You've got to start working on you. That's the only way. AuntBertha.com and trycatholiccharities.com. They do free counseling for victims of domestic violence. Okay. How do you hold boundaries when hubby, scapegoat to narcissistic mom, boycotts them? You get with a therapist and you demand couples therapy with that spouse and demand that he start working on that relationship with his narcissist mom. And if he doesn't, there's your sign. Seriously, it's like if he's unwilling to confront that issue of that original wound, then your relationship is doomed. So yeah, because they've got to be willing to work on it. If not, they're going to continue to take out their anger towards their narcissistic parent onto you. So don't put up with it. How long does it take, though? Been working on this for a while now. It takes time, guys. This is not going to happen overnight, especially if we had parents that were disordered. We've got to undo all of that inner child stuff. This is not going to be a one and done. This is not going to be like, the light shines down and suddenly you've got enlightenment. I wish. It's going to be a series of little enlightenments, but it's not going to be a one and done. You're going to have to keep working on this, and you're going to have to keep calling yourself on it, and you're going to have to keep going to therapy. It's not going to do any good to do therapy once in a while. You need to be consistent, and you need to keep going so that you can continue to work on all of this. So there it is. When I got out of the abusive relationship, it was easy to see where the narcissist or where the toxic people I had around me, and they said things that made me feel like crap, and I cut them off. They aren't in my life anymore. Good job. This is the thing. You don't put up with abuse, and I don't care who it's from. It is better to be alone for the right reasons than with somebody for the wrong. Let me say that again. It is better to be alone for the right reasons than with somebody for the wrong reasons. There you go. All right. In-laws try to control when we see narc siblings. The siblings never call us. They put it all on me to be responsible for contact. That is what narcissists do. So what a narcissist parent will do is they will do the woe is me, nobody ever calls me, nobody ever reaches out, I'm all alone, blah, blah, blah. And they expect all of the children to reach out to them, but they never just pick up the phone and call. And this is across the board with all narcissists. They expect, because they're so important, that everybody needs to drop everything they're doing and call them. That's what they do. Okay. Oh, Laura, you're very welcome. Okay, hang on. Whoa. Okay, hang on. How do you explain to the adult niece or nephew that their parent was abusive? Usually what they do is they start asking questions. So in my case, both my niece and my nephew came to me and said, tell me about your dad. Tell me about the family. Tell me about this. And what I did is I handed them my book and said, here, read this. This is going to tell you everything, because this is a history of what I went through growing up. And then they read the book and they came back to me and was like, oh my God, this is exactly what we went through with our dad. What the hell? And that's when I said, therapy for everyone. And so they did. They have their own therapist. And and I have my own therapist, and we all work on stuff. And you just be honest. You be honest. And, if they don't accept it, if they're going to reject it, whatever, that's on them. But you tell the truth. You tell the truth. You just fucking tell the truth, because the truth is going to come out anyway. It always does. So, and if they're ready to hear it, they'll hear it. And if they're not, they'll tell you, this is too much. I can't handle it right now. Okay. Come to me when you're ready. There you go. There it is. That's what we do. If the narc says horrific things, can we give them slap therapy? Wouldn't that be nice? Slap therapy for everyone. No, they're going to say horrific things. You just keep going. Keep working on yourself. Yep. It takes time. It can take 3 years. It can take 4 years. It depends on how long the abuse was going on, what kind of abuse was going on, how open are you to confronting the abandonment, the fear, all of that. It takes time, guys. It's not a one and done. It's not a one and done. Do toxic grandparents cause parental alienation? They can. I think I already answered that. My wife's father has been bad-mouthing me to my oldest for years. We have a strained relationship. He's 13, and it's going on for what seems like since birth. I would say get with a therapist. Get with a family therapist and work with your son. What are the issues? Where is his head? What is going on? Get with a good family therapist that understands toxic grandparents and start working through the issues. So for me, what often ends up happening is I will have like a dad and a son come in, or a mom and a daughter come in. And because the parent was never taught how to have a healthy communication set of skills to talk to a kid, the parent will either come off as authoritative, authoritarian. So they'll come off as authoritarian. So in other words, well, my way or the highway, what I say goes, I'm the boss, I'm the adult, without being able to talk to the kid and find out what's going on with them. So you want to be authoritative, not authoritarian. So you still establish that you are the parent for sure, and you're not going to put up with disrespect, but you also talk to your child. I feel angry, sad, hurt when we have this strained relationship, and I'm wondering why. Where did this come from for you? Don't just assume that it's the grandparents. It very well could be, and it very well probably is, But you want the son to start thinking things through himself. Where did this come from? Why does he feel this way? Where did he learn this? You want the person to start processing stuff for themselves. So I would suggest getting into a good therapist and working on communication skills with your son. Talk to him, ask him things, be interested, find out, help him start processing and thinking. Where did he learn this? Why does he feel this way? Where is this disrespect coming from? What is going on? And you then also show him by modeling good boundaries. I am not going to put up with disrespect. I understand you're frustrated about this rule about not going out after 11:30 at night or whatever it is. You know, and here's the reason why we're doing it. The mistake that parents that are authoritarian make, I always get authoritative. Authoritarian parents make is they do the because I said so. And no, you don't always want to be having to explain everything to a kid, especially because sometimes they do that because they want to try to trip you up. But when a child truly is, I don't understand, why is this rule this way? Then explain it to them. Help them understand. So yeah, do that. It's very easy for targets to be targeted in a religious setting. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have any degrees either, but when I want to learn about something, I research everything I can. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very glad that my book helped. You're very welcome. It's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him cha-cha. Okay. Oh, what was the question I wanted to make sure to answer? So the one thing that abusers do, and I'm going to wrap this up at 2 because my voice is starting to go and I can tell the decongestant is starting to wear off, is that they do the whole, so the question I get a lot is, okay, well, how can they not know what they're doing? I think I answered this a little bit earlier, but I want to reinforce this. How can they not know what they're doing? I thought that they, that they were so out of it that they don't recognize what they're doing. So aren't they really kind of victims? Bullshit. Get that thinking out of your head. That is what every single narcissistic psychologist and psychiatrist would love for you to believe. Okay? This is the reason why the APA has a faction and the ACA has a faction of disordered people themselves that want to get rid of personality disorders. So here's the deal. Narcissists who abuse know exactly what they're doing. They absolutely recognize supply. They absolutely recognize when they are harming somebody. They know it. They know it. It is narcissistic supply for them. They enjoy it. It is sadism. They do not get better. And getting rid of the quote-unquote labeling is not going to change the fact that there are abusers out there. I encourage each and every one of you to get onto the APA site and get onto the ACA site and explain to them how being able to call the abuser what they are and list out the behavior has been so helpful, because it is. When we're able to go, oh my gosh, this, yeah, they have a, sense of entitlement, and they, they fake their degrees, and they, want everybody to give them accolades for stuff they didn't do, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's helpful for targets of abuse to see that and go, okay, I'm not crazy. It's right here. The other thing I strongly encourage too is encourage the ACA and the APA to put in narcissistic abuse survivor syndrome in there. Because it's the same stuff that every single target of abuse goes through, no matter where they are in the world. It's real. It's happening. And whether you call it narcissistic abuse survivor syndrome, or whether you call it Stockholm syndrome, or whether you call it Harold, it's still going to be the same. So it's really important that we have the words to put to this, to say, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what they did to me. This is how I am responding to this. So do contact the ACA and the APA and let them know that those two issues are very important. Okay, I got 3 minutes. I'm going to try to wrap it up here. How do we cope with the pain of a sibling believing the narc parent's smear campaign and siding with the narc even though she knows the truth and is in denial? You write and burn. You journal. And if they are willing to go to therapy with you and work on that, that's great. If they're not, you let them go. You let them go. Okay. Is it wrong that I struggle to call my mother or mom anything motherly? No, it's not. I have a dozen nicknames for her, but calling her mom makes me physically uncomfortable. Then don't, because not every person out there deserves the title of mom or deserves the title of dad. If they have been abusive, if they have physically harmed somebody, if they have mentally harmed somebody and they did it intentionally and they're doing it continually, they are abusers. They do not deserve the title of mom or dad. They don't. You don't have to call them that. Okay, and my mother called my work, moved to another job and left about 20 messages on the phone, calls constantly. Yeah, you don't put up with that. You don't respond. You don't respond. You just don't. In California, 13-year-olds can sign for consent for therapy. Well, that's interesting. I did not know that. Okay. All right, hang on. How to deal with the constant back in the good old days philosophy. Everything was better and everyone loved her then comments. Not quite so sure I understand that, Shannon. If you could IM me and expand on that, because that sounds like something that needs to be answered. So IM me, because I'm going to go off here pretty soon. I'm not sure, so IM me and we'll see about that. Okay. Okay. So you cannot prevent them from spewing venom and smearing. They're going to do what they're going to do. And if they're nasty and mean and cruel and are smearing and venoming, and you don't need to be around them. If you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? If the answer is no, act accordingly. There is no reason in the world to stay in a relationship with somebody who is hurtful, harmful, mean, vicious, nasty, snarky. It gives you fear, gives you obligation, or gives you guilt. There is no reason in the world. I'm sandwiched between two generations of narcissists, my parents, my exes, and my daughters. So again, if the children are willing to go to therapy, you've got a chance. If they're not, you go to therapy, you draw strong boundaries, you do not allow anybody, the parents, the exes, or the kids, to abuse you. You have the right to be treated with respect. Okay. Why is it so hard for me to accept that they never were and never going to be healthy parents? Because it's the inner child. Because every child wants to be loved. Every child wants to feel like that parent has got their best interest at heart. And the truth of the matter is, if they are disordered, they do not. And that is a hard realization. It really is. And again, that's where a therapist comes in handy to help you realize that. Now, if that therapist is sitting there going, oh, but you need to reconcile, fire your therapist. Go find a good therapist that understands dealing with narcissistic or malignant borderline parents. Okay, guys, holy cow. I know there's more questions. I don't have the voice. I'm losing steam here. So I think, I'll see what the questions are that have come through that I didn't get a chance to do. I'll write them down. I'll try to answer them on a one-off. I think I want to talk more next week about self-esteem and how to repair that damage and what to do and all that sort of good stuff. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. Love you all. Have a great week. I will try to do a Q&A video. I think I'm going to do the Q&A videos over on YouTube just because it seems like there's a better interaction over there with that. But the problem with YouTube is that it's mirroring the image, so I don't want to do the show over there because it mirrors the image, and I got to figure out how to do that. And of course, if you know me at all, you know I am technologically impaired, so I got to figure that out. All right, guys, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.